Be the change you wish to see in the world. So I've got a couple of stories for you. Just a moment ago I was out with Jem, went to the shop, and I bumped into one of my old acquaintances from when I used to work the doors. And we were having a chat. I was trying to help him out with some health issues, but he wasn't really receptive. And he then started trying to tell me how hard he was. He was recounting this story of someone that he bashed his head into the door and blah de blah, you know, in a nightclub, like throwing him out. And I just couldn't stand there and politely smile and nod like I would have done, you know, previously. We all like to be sort of polite, don't we? But I felt like that's rewarding negative, ego-driven behaviour, and we don't need more of that in the world. Gemma put it to me like, you know, that guy looks up to you and he's seeking your approval. You know, I used to be not a nice guy, and so he remembers how I was, I guess, and, you know, he was aspiring to be more like that. But you don't want to be like that. Like, anyone can hit someone, anyone can be an arse. You know, really it comes from fear. Like, you know, you're kind of scared, you want to make yourself look big. It's insecurities, you know. And if you're unawakened, like, will you stop beeping and chopping up food? What was I then saying?
If you're unawakened,
you know, it's easy for all this negative programming in your head, and you'll just spout out all these things about how hard you are, or, you know, things like that, kind of little man syndrome. But if you're awakened, you see straight through it, and, like, you know, that's quite ugly. And anyway, not trying to be unkind to anyone. What I'm trying to say is, be the change you want to see in the world. Don't what was the phrase I used a minute ago? Don't, like, reward people for their negative behaviour, you know. The more and more we all awaken, whether it be veganism or any sort of prejudice, the more and more we awaken. It's good to be vegan, it's good to not be prejudiced towards, like, other groups of people, etc., not just a speciesism. But unless you act on it as well, we're not going to end suffering very quickly. Another story that I remembered while I was chatting with Gemma about this, I was in a shop in the city centre with a couple of really enlightened friends, and we were talking to this guy in the shop. He started sort of talking our ears off, and I can't remember what we were talking about, but he then used the phrase effing ragheads, I think was the phrase he used. And, you know, he was very unconscious. He was just spouting off, not really very sort of self-aware. And myself and the other two guys were looking at each other, and we were all, you could see that none of us liked it, but being the polite Brits that we were, we just stood there and listened. That was me that time.
yes.
And as soon as we got out of that store, we all looked at each other and we said, like, we should have said something, like. And we all vowed the next time we're in that sort of a situation that we're not just going to stand there and wear it. You know, we're going to tell people, no, this isn't what? Like, this is 2016, you know? Well, it was 2015 then, but you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, do good. Don't harm animals. Don't harm others, you know, other people, humans and non-human animals. And don't, you know, I believe I've pretty much managed to get rid of every prejudice inside me. There were a couple of little things which I realised I disliked about a couple of groups of people, and I really thought about it, and I thought, I wasn't born like that. And I realised this social conditioning and, you know, peer pressure. And so these couple of situations where normally I didn't like it, I was sort of repulsed or, you know, felt a negative emotion. I just thought to myself, no, I'm not going to be like that. And you know what? I've beaten it. It doesn't. These things don't affect me anymore. I don't have any prejudices against any groups of people, or even spiders I get on with now. I'm even nice to spiders. But what was I then going to say, Gemma?
Be kind of vegan, but also don't just let people be.
Yeah.
You know.
Don't just put up with people's shit. If people are being an arse, tell them you don't like it. So this guy was telling me how hard he was, and I said, look, I'm not like that anymore. I don't like that. I'm just trying to be nice to people, and you know, I think it was a bit of a shock to him because I have done a complete 180 in the way, you know, I purport myself. So anyway, that was a bit of a rambling, but I just wanted to say that. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe.
Go vegan for victory! I had a mouthful.